Welcome back to the show. Our next guest is an author who has written about everything from gardening to soap making. She was also a finalist for the Governor General's Award. For her latest book, she decided to place the focus on her 105-year-old friend, Beth.
Yes, the result, Walking with Beth, is an homage to friendship, aging, and a life well lived. Please welcome author Merilyn Simonds to the show. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. All right, so Marilyn, you and Beth have known each other for 30 years, and you have a 30-year age gap, and you both were adamant that this would be a book for women. Why?
Well, women, I think, go through the aging process a little differently than men. We live longer, for one thing, so a lot of women are going to end up being alone. So isolation and loneliness are an issue. We don't tend to have the big heart attacks, but we do have, the lingering heart issues that are, harder to diagnose. And then there's estrogen, right? I mean, the estrogen leaves in midlife, and after that, it's like you walked into a desert. Everything dries up, and you're subject to osteoporosis and osteoarthritis and all these. There's a lot of things to manage when you are a woman moving into your latter years.
Absolutely. I know that a lot of women look at aging and they look at it with dread, a sense of dread, and not looking forward to it at all. And I understand that Beth is now 105 years old.
As of July.
That deserves a clap. So what did your relationship with her teach you about your relationship with age and aging?
Well, Beth and I talked about this a lot because, let's face it, we live in a really ageist culture. The kind of work that we did around how we treat women and how we treat people of color, we haven't done that work around how we treat people who are getting older. Older people are seen not for who they are, but for the number of years or the white hair or the stooped back or all of that sort of thing. So, we talked about that a lot, and it's important right now because at this moment in Ontario, there are 4,000 people over 100 years old.
Wow.
1,400 of them still live in their own homes the way Beth does. Beth lives on her own, she looks after herself, she's as smart as anybody. By the time I'm 100, that's 25 years from now. By the time I'm 100, there will be 40,000 of us. Wow. So society's going to have to adjust its perception of what it means to grow older.
Melissa's going to be one of them because she plans on living to at least 120.
Absolutely.
There you go.
You talk about that all the time.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It's true.
It's just you want to be healthy.
Absolutely,
right?
yes. Health span over lifespan.
Yes.
Let's talk about the fact that, listen, the longer we're on this planet, we're going to have more joys, but the longer we're here, we also will experience more grief. And I understand that Beth has not only lost her husband, she's lost 2 of her children also. So what has being with Beth taught you about grief in this life?
Well, Beth's daughter died just at about the time that we started our walks, and her daughter died very, very suddenly. And she was very close to her daughter. And she, COVID was at the same time, so there was the isolation of COVID, there was the grief around her daughter. And Beth being Beth, she just didn't leave it at that, saying, oh my God, I'm desperate. She thought, what is really going on here? And so she sat down with a paper and pencil and tried to, go deeper and deeper and deeper into her feelings. She ended up writing a poem about her daughter. And she realized that what was really at the crux of it was that she always thought her daughter would be there for her when she died. And now she faced the fact that she would probably be completely alone. And so, but she didn't stop there. She called up a friend, a psychiatrist in San Francisco, and said, who's a big fan of rituals, and she said, what should I do? And he suggested a solution. And the next time I went there, she took me out to her porch, and she had bought a beautiful lantern that she had attached to the porch railing, and she had a beautiful sort of a blue-green candle inside, and every evening at a certain time, she lights that candle, and that's her moment to talk to her daughter.
Oh, wow.
So it removed it from this vague, all-pervasive grief to a moment of communication.
Oh gosh, you're going to get us crying up in here, Marilyn.
I know.
It's
Well,
beautiful.
I've shed more than a few
It's
tears
true.
with Beth, I can tell you.
It's unfortunate to think that actually, I mean, I don't know if it's unfortunate, but it's probably pretty normal that most of us hang out with people who are about our age, around our age group.
It's true.
For very obvious reasons,
Yeah.
perhaps. What do you think is the benefit of having what you have, which is this multi-generational or intergenerational friendship?
Well, you know, I mean, as we grow up, when we're kids, we're friends with our classmates. When we're young adults, we're friends with, you know, the parents of your kids' friends. And then you're friends with your workmates, right? And you sort of, they're all circumstantial friendships. They're not friendships based on who you are and your interests and that sort of thing. What I find with Beth is that, you know, she's lived another 30 years. She lived through Hitler. She lived through the Great Depression. She was a teenager in the Great Depression. You know, so she has a perspective on the rollout of history that I don't have. Every generation thinks that, you know, their generation has it the hardest. And she kind of says, yeah, but wait a minute, what about? So I love that perspective. And it's the same when I spend time with my adult grandchildren, because they're in their 20s, and, you know, we have a lot of interests in common, but they come at things from a different perspective. And I think that's very healthy to always be seeing different perspectives.
That's so lovely. Now, I understand that you have called Beth your guide to the future. Can you leave us with the most impactful thing that she has taught you?
There we are.
There she is.
We're laughing there, by the way.
Okay, that's a happy moment.
That's not a sad moment.
Okay.
We were killing ourselves laughing. I use the word guide, and I'm kind of sorry that I used that word. You know, I'd like to go back and edit it out, because this isn't a how-to, right? This doesn't say, okay, do this, do that, do the other thing, and you're going to live to 105 just like Beth. But that said, I think the most important thing that I've taken from her as a model is to stay interested in life. Nobody I know lives as much in the present as Beth does. You know, every morning she goes to her huge dining room table that is covered with art supplies, and she sits down, and as she says, whoosh, you know, I just get transported. So whatever your passion is, develop your passion. You know, your working life is going to end. Your kids are going to leave you. You know, your partner may die, and you may be alone. But your passions, whatever's inside you, that's never going to leave you.
I love that. I love that. What a great note to end on, Marilyn. Thank you so much for sharing your lovely relationship with Beth.
Thank you.
The book is called Walking with Beth. There she goes. You can find it everywhere that you buy books. And for our lucky members of our studio audience, you're all going home with your very own copy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Stay right where you are. We'll be right back.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.